Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to our graduate open house session. Thank you so much for making us a part of your evening today. Welcome to the overview for the College of Communication graduate programs. My name is Flavio Diaz, and I am your admissions counselor here for the College of Communications. I'm also joined by our esteemed faculty and program representatives of our 6 graduate programs that we offer here at the College of Communications. So you will all get to hear from them and about their respective programs. But we will kick things off with an overview and welcome from our graduate director or our director of graduate programs here, Dr. Matt Regis. Before going into the specifics of the programs, and as you can see, we have our program representatives here as well. We have Vincent Pena for journalism, Tony Dang for public relations and advertising, Michael DeAngelis for communication and media. We have Sam Close for digital communication and media as well, and Matt Regis wrapping things up with professional communication. So for all of our people who are joining us, feel free to drop in the chat what program you're interested in hearing about, and we're happy to answer those questions. We're also going to talk about the details in terms of the admission process. How can you get to DePaul and everything that you need to do through that application stage before wrapping things up with a Q&A and panel and discussion. You can always, since this is a pretty intimate group, feel free to drop your questions as they pop up, but just be assured that there will be plenty of time at the end to have those questions and discussion with the group as well. And again, if you haven't realized by now, this is for the College of Communications. So if you don't see your program listed here, you're probably in the wrong Zoom room. So make sure that you click on that info booth button, which is on your main portal, and they will be able to direct you to that right room that you're looking for. And with that, I'll hand things over to Dr. Matt Regis, who can give us some welcoming remarks.
Hey, thanks so much, Flavio, and good evening, folks. We are so glad that you're spending the next hour with us here in DePaul's College of Communication. As Flavio mentioned, I am Professor Matt Regis and Director of Grad Studies, and we've got an excellent lineup of Masters in Communication related programs for you to consider. But let us first talk a little bit about DePaul. Maybe some of you joining us might be about to become a double demon. But for those of you, you might have done your undergrad at a different institution. So we want to give you a little snapshot. DePaul's the largest private university in the Midwest. We're the nation's largest Catholic university. We pride ourselves on our inclusiveness of welcoming people of all faiths as well as non-believers. We have about over 20,000 students, 10 colleges and schools. These programs are at least fully or partially housed that you're going to learn about tonight in the College of Communication. Over 200,000 alumni worldwide, 55 countries. Majority of those alums, our network is spans across the country and around the world, but really, really very strong in Chicagoland. Our students hail from all 50 U.S. states, more than 100 countries. And one thing I think we're very proud of is we have a very high rate in terms of, you can think of it kind of as placement rate of what our master's students and undergrads are doing in terms of the workforce, in terms of either being employed or continuing their education. Next slide, Flavio. So we're going to talk a little bit, we're going to give you snapshots. Really appreciative to have a fantastic team joining us this evening. You're going to learn in a couple minutes about faculty who are our lead faculty representatives for each of our 5 graduate programs. I happen to wear 2 hats, so you're going to hear from me twice. I'm going to talk to you about our master's in ProCom, but we do have 5 award-winning graduate programs. We are located in Chicago, whether you're taking classes with us online or in person, or maybe it's an in-person program, but we do offer online or hybrid classes. And we like to think about that DePaul is Chicago and Chicago is DePaul. And so you're very much, we are a media hub, we're a communications hub, cultural hub, business hub, and we integrate those relationships and experiences and what's going on in the world around us into our classes and into our curriculum. And we have truly fantastic colleagues, instructors, and mentors. You're about to learn some and hear from Dr. Close and Dr. Pena, Dr. Dang, and Dr. DeAngelis, who I have a lot of fun, and it's really an honor to get to work with them. And they have a huge commitment to developing you. And the last thing before we play a really short, brand new video, professional associations and networking. So there's lots of opportunities to we integrate Chicago and associations and networking into our classes, and you also have the opportunity to either in person or virtually visit them. And so I'm just thinking about an email thread earlier today with Dr. Paul Booth. And so there is some upcoming great fan studies related convention opportunities at DePaul and off campus that are coming up very soon that our master's students will very much be front and center in. And that segues really nicely, Flavio, into this brand new sizzle reel that talks about how we embrace networking, mentoring within our college and programs.
We had to think about how we were going to support students, what are some of the biggest needs, and we found out there was three big buckets. First one was mentorship opportunities. The second thing was sharing industry insights. And then third is providing opportunity and also connection.
The mission of the AB is to support DePaul students throughout their career here at DePaul, but also to help set them up for success right after college.
The board is made up of people that, my goodness, they represent such a wide spectrum of industries and practices, folks that are in-house, working in agencies, people with backgrounds in things like retail, tech, government, sports.
You get to expand your professional network while also feeling like you're helping someone build theirs.
You know what, there is just something special about DePaul that is the core value that everyone shares in this group. I lead the DAC, which are more seasoned professionals, and then to be able to interact with the students is such a wonderful opportunity to mentor and exchange ideas for us to learn from each other at these different levels.
Especially studying journalism, it was a lot of real world work. Sure, there are like current events exams that you take, but for the most part it's doing the work that I would be doing as a working professional in journalism.
So sharing those industry insights so we keep students current with what best practices are, connecting currently enrolled students to not just us as alumni, but to a wider network of communications professionals.
This is the center of Chicago, so DePaul really is feeding our business, and I think we all want to be a part of its success.
Thank you, Flavio. So I just put into the chat as well. The Dean's Advisory Council, Young Professionals Advisory Board is many are alums of our college, all are friends of our college, and you have access to them and support from them informally and through your classes, perhaps as guest speakers or mentors. So just a little bit of a taste of what makes the graduate student experience really special and unique here in the college.
Absolutely. Thank you, Matt. And with that, let me make sure that's paused. We can transition over to our program overviews, kicking things off with our MA in journalism. And we have Dr. Vincent Pena to tell you all about that program.
Hello, everyone. Sorry if you saw me carry my laptop earlier. I had to move rooms because the Wi-Fi in my office is super wonky. But welcome everyone, and welcome back for at least one of you, Diana. So I will go over, obviously there's stuff on the slides. You can read that. I will focus a little bit more on the other stuff about our program that is um, I think, yeah, just as important. Some of like the things you might be learning, the classes you might take, some of the opportunities we have. So as you can see here, I will skim over this. It's in person. I messed up last time I did this, and we said it was a hybrid or like a multiple modalities. It is in fact in person. All of the classes, unless you take an undergrad class, that kind of counts sometimes towards the grad courses if we don't have enough available, but all the grad courses are at night. They're like usually 3 hours long. But it kind of allows you to have if you're a working professional or have a day job, all the classes are kind of the same time, same schedule across the week. It takes as little as 2 years. You can, I think, finish quicker. We have some people who kind of speed through it, load up on classes. It's 48 credit hours. So kind of, again, you can break that up how you will. You can start whenever you see the cost there. And the big important thing I think for us is the concentrations. We have four right now, kind of revised from, and we have technically like a fifth one that you can take, but we have accountability journalism, data journalism, multimedia, and sports journalism. And also, my apologies, I have two kids playing right now, so if you hear them, my apologies. But we also have technically a fifth one called Latino Media and Communication that you can take, but it's not specific just to the journalism MA. I think you can kind of anyone can adapt that or take that on. But some real and fun things we do in journalism, as Dr. Regas said, we treat Chicago as our classroom. Kind of in the sense, especially for journalism and other pro practice type of majors or concentrations, and that you're right in the middle of everything, right? You're right where all the news stations are centered and where they're located, where all the sports teams have a lot of their offices, right? And so it's really awesome because students kind of get to hit the ground. And even if it's not, working with the Chicago Tribune or at ESPN, when we're in class and we're like, hey, we need to do this activity, you literally walk out and you're in the streets of Chicago, and you have all of that at your disposal. So while you're here, though, we have a lot of opportunities. Um, in terms of getting involved, right? And so, based on your concentration, you can kind of, build your own adventure, so to speak, and do any number of things within those tracks. So, sports journalism, for instance, I have people who want to be podcasters, I have people who want to be magazine writers, I have people who want to be like, in front of and behind the camera for sports orgs or media outlets. And so, based on all of those different things, you can kind of tailor your career and your time here to do that. On that note, in terms of journalism, we have a lot of opportunities to get involved, both on campus and off campus. We have our media outlets, our student media outlets, I should say, our newspaper, DePaulia and La DePaulia, which is the Spanish-speaking, version. We have Radio DePaul Sports and Entertainment. We have 14 East and Pueblo, our news magazine and Spanish version. Good Data Paul, which is our TV station. And then we have a number of student organizations focused on journalism, Society of Professional Journalists. I am the advisor for NAHJ, which is the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. We also have student chapters for NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists, Asian American Journalists Association, Gay and Lesbian Journalists Association. So we have a number of those groups for which we provide free registration for. So it's another thing. You can get involved, access all the scholarships, opportunities, mentorship opportunities that those things have. And then also, we have really good placement at any of the number of outlets within the city of Chicago and outside of it. In terms of current and very recent former students, we've placed people at the New York Times, Bloomberg, Chicago Tribune, the Sun Times, ESPN, ESPN Radio, WGN, CBS Chicago, NBC Chicago, Telemundo, and we have active uh, exclusive partnerships also with several news organizations in the area. Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, that's a new one. We basically send and pay for two journalists to go up there. We have one with Block Club Chicago, which is a super kind of the media darling in Chicago, right? They're kind of like within the last five or so years got off the ground and are doing very well. We placed current students there. I had two students from my last class in the fall who are currently interns there as part of this program. We have a program with Telemundo. And so anyways, we have ample opportunities both in and out of class to get to do this stuff you're doing. And it's awesome because a lot of places, the grad students and the undergrads are kind of siloed. And here I think it's awesome that the grad students get to work with them, right? And so like there's not this, if you're a grad student, you can't work for the DePaul, it's only for undergrads. You absolutely can work, and many of our leadership of those papers and outlets are in fact grad students. And so it's great experience that you get both in and out of the classroom. And I think that's probably long enough for me to talk, but I'm happy to answer specific questions if anyone has them. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Thank you for that overview, Dr. Pena. And yes, definitely look into those opportunities to be involved as a student. Ample opportunities there to build experience as you learn. And with that, we'll move on to our Master of Arts in Public Relations and Advertising. And our program representative, Dr. Tony Dang, will tell you all about that program.
All right. Welcome, everybody. So PR and advertising is the program, and what better place to study PR and advertising but at the center of Chicago. So I'm outside of my door is the city skylines, and we are actually surrounded by advertising and PR agencies around here, which is what I would say the core strengths of our program, which are we are really down to the industry, and we have in-depth industry connections with the professionals that are working in Chicago and also outside of Chicago. The prep program offers unprecedented connections with all these local professionals that really would enhance and elevate your future career in this aspect. With the MA program in Pratt, you're not only exposed to all the theoretical and practical knowledge of PR and advertising, you are exposed to a wide network of professionals here in Chicago. And I think that is the main thing that attract me to teach at DePaul with this program. This is also a program that has won national recognition. This year, we are the top 5 finalists for the Best Education Program of the Year by PR Week. The PR side of our program also have won the nation's best PR program in 2022 and 2018, which is a big deal because in terms of PR, what other programs can compete with us with all these connections and local professionals. So we have dedicated student organization called the PRSSA, which is the PRSA's student chapter here in Chicago, which have won numerous awards along the years. So those are managed by most of our press students. And they competed in conferences, in competitions, in numerous ways that engage with PR professionals and also clients, both inside and outside of Chicago. On the advertising side, we have the Ad Society, which we constantly be in a competition of the National Advertising Associations and craft campaigns and strategies for real-world clients. So we have definitely many student organizations that you can participate and you can be part of, and you can also network and enhance your future internships and your career perspective here in Chicago. So in terms of academic, similar to the journalism program, most of our courses are in person during the evening hours from 5:45 all the way to 9 p.m. every week. But we do also offer hybrids and online courses. So feel free to check out our coursework on our website. And most of those offer in person during the evening hours. You can also select different elective classes, both in and outside of the college. So the final to graduate with a man-made degree, you can either choose a portfolio, which will help you to design, and also a thesis track, if you design to pursue a higher degree in the area of PR and advertising. So there are different ways that you can gain academic experiences. We also had optional Latino media and communication concentration if you're into communicating with Latino consumers. Which would be a huge market right now, especially during the Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny. Super Bowl commercials is one of the major advertising festivals that we have annually. And looking to this halftime show, we know to understand the Latinos market is huge in America and also had a large presentation here in Chicago. So if you're into that concentration, that is also available to you to look into courses related to the Latino consumers and how we can strategically communicate with them. So in terms of tuition, we also offer a lot of financial aid options and different type of way to lessen the burden of tuition All those are available on our website, and also you can communicate with our faculties. A major benefit of communicating with our faculty is most of us came from the industry. So I work in advertising agencies in Hong Kong and China for 10 years before coming back to the academia. So I have a age-long history of working in agencies, alongside with many of our faculty who are also from the industry that had the connections and had the expertise, so that we can facilitate your career here in Chicago and both abroad. I'm happy to answer any more questions about Pratt and the master program and how you can get out of those programs. We'll answer some questions during the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dang. And another feature that I particularly enjoy about the PRAD program is you mentioned that PRAD showcase that graduate students have at the end of the year, where they actually present and show off that portfolio that they've created throughout their program here, and they're able to present it to the community. We invite alumni, faculty, industry leaders, anyone in the PR and advertising field is invited to come and learn from the hard work that our students have put together. It's a great way to sort of put them out there in front of everyone in the industry. So that is a good way to wrap up the Pratt program. And we'll move over to our Master of Arts in Communication and Media. And we have Dr. Michael DeAngelis here to tell us all about that program.
Hi, everybody. My name is Michael DeAngelis. I'm the director of the Communication and Media Master's Program. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the two concentrations. It's very simple. It's both a choice between two and an integration of the two. The first is applied communication, which I guess would be, we could call it like the more social scientific aspect of communication studies, where we study things like team behavior, deceit, what gets in the way or obstacles that of communication that gets in the way in our everyday lives and in our workplaces, and a lot of theory and, let's say, application of that theory, study of cases, give examples of problems of communication in the workplace, and actually outside of the workplace as well, that we encounter but don't necessarily consider problems. The other concentration is one that is also very unique, the concentration in media and popular culture. We recently organized an undergraduate program in media and popular culture, which is actually one of the only such programs in the Midwest, along with Bowling Green State University. And we've incorporated many of these same factors into our graduate study. So that in this program, you can study things like any type of aspect of popular culture, including new media, cinema, television, but also certain types of aspects of popular culture that are not necessarily clearly media related. Like for instance, we have a class in wrestling that's coming up, the pro wrestling, and as a phenomenon of popular culture. We also introduced a course in the cultural history of sound. So not even in cinema itself, but sound is an aspect of our everyday lives. So whereas the applied communication concentration deals with these phenomena on, let's say, a social scientific basis, the media and popular culture does it from a little bit more of a humanities basis, where you're actually analyzing texts to see how certain subjects are represented in culture. And it's a really, really exciting phenomenon, the way that we've constructed it. What's kind of unique about our program, too, is that whereas we ask students to declare concentration in either one of applied or media and popular culture, we've designed the program so that there's an integration of the two as well. Since we don't think that they're actually quite as separate as they may seem, we'd like to give people an introduction and some background and context in the other field, the one that they haven't chosen to study quite as intensively. This has a lot of advantages because when our communication professionals sometimes look for jobs as adjunct instructors or perhaps as full-time faculty at universities, they're often called upon to teach classes in communication that they may not have been familiar with because it wasn't exactly what they studied in graduate school. We've kind of resolved that problem very, very, I think, ingeniously by showing or comparing the two types of communication structures that we're dealing with and seeing how that they integrate and cross over. So it's an exciting program. We do use a lot of the resources of Chicago, especially perhaps in the media and popular culture. We have courses that deal with the Chicago International Film Festival. We represent our program at conventions throughout the city. And we have a really exciting lineup of courses that we're doing every quarter. So I encourage you to consider this degree program, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Dr. DeAngelis.
Sure.
And while all of our master's programs will, of course, qualify you if you choose to pursue a terminal degree, such as a PhD, I find that this program in particular really allows for anyone who is interested in going into academia or research to really explore those interests that they have. So this is certainly a great program to explore those interests in. And with that, we'll move on to our Master of Arts in Digital Communication and Media Arts. And for this, we have Dr. Sam Close here to tell us about this program.
Hello. I'm going to be brief since I know we want to be able to get to your time for questions. But the DCMA program is unique among our master's programs because it is a collaboration with the School of Design in our College of Computing and Digital Media. And so this is really a program where you learn the why am I doing something from our College of Communication side and the how do I do the thing from the School of Design side. It's a really great program for people who want to be storytellers, whether that storytelling takes you into the world of PR and advertising, into the world of journalism, into the world of content creation. I was just pulling up earlier, one of our master's students had her thesis project that she did as a video essay that she posted on YouTube, and it currently has 119,000 views. And so that's the kind of thing that you can do coming out of the DCMA program. We also see students who become social media content managers, user experience designers, and who sometimes even from us go on to academia as well. That's always fun. We have core courses that will teach you about the fundamentals of design and the fundamentals of storytelling and how, as well as how to use things like the Adobe Creative Cloud. That's an industry standard of storytelling and production tools. And then we also have things that will introduce you to what is going on with the digital ecosystem from a theoretical point of view, and ethically, how do we understand what's happening in the digital world today. And you can see on here, just like the other graduate programs, our classes are in person once a week at night. But sometimes you can also take electives that will meet during the day if that works with your schedule. For instance, I'm teaching a course right now with some master's students where we are going to the C2E2 convention. And so you can see our students are going to be putting on a panel at C2E2 as well as designing a booth for the fan convention. And so you get to have those kind of real world experiences if you can make that room in your schedule for an in-person class during the day. And with that, I will hand it over. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Close. And of course, all of our graduate students have access to our state-of-the-art resource and technology centers that we offer. And this program in particular does incorporate a lot of that innovative technology to bring your stories to life in this new digital platform. And our final program and fifth program here, back to Dr. Regis to tell us about the MA in ProCom.
Yeah, thanks very much, Flavio. So, like Sam, I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because I really want to throw it back to Flavio so we can get through some admission and financial aid and deadline, and then really open it up to you all for questions. So the MA in Professional Communication, it's fully online. It was built from the ground up that way as an accelerated program. One thing that makes it very unique is it's cohort based. And so students all start and take classes together. It's part of a shared learning community. Right now, we are in cohort 5, We're recruiting for cohort 6. If you're interested in this program, and I think Flavio can put it into the chat, we actually have a information session dedicated to ProCom next week, which will be me with Michelle Patrick, one of our Rockstar alums from cohort 2. The program, like I said, is accelerated. It's 12 months. You take all your classes together in a sequence. You start with a virtual residency to build community, learn about DePaul and the college's resources. And then we culminate with a second residency that has a final project showcase where students do a real world final project where they address a communication challenge of a partner organization. And then they share highlights at this virtual event. We always have a keynote speaker each year that's an industry leader. This year, we're delighted to have Maxine Weiner, who is the president and CEO of North Shore Exchange, which is kind of a well-known brand around Chicago that does luxury resale, but is actually purpose-driven. It's a nonprofit that dedicates a big chunk of their profits to community organizations in need in Chicago. So very, very interesting. Max spent much of her career running PR and communication agencies like Burson and Fleischman Hillard in Chicago, and now has transitioned to leading a really cool nonprofit. You can think about the Procom curriculum as really the integration of organizational communication and strategic communication. So we have classes dedicated to internal comms and effective communication in teams, and then we have classes that are really focused more on content creation and ethics and writing, and then design. Trying to think. I think I'm gonna kind of leave things right there because we're gonna have it. If you're interested, next week, actually, I believe next Tuesday, Michelle and I have this session together. It's really a who's who in just 5 short years of alums working for really top organizations in Chicago. Many of them are in in-house communications and marketing departments and teams. And I'm going to leave it there and throw it back to Flavio.
Thank you, Dr. Reyes. So now that we've heard of all the programs that we offer here, let's talk about what you need to do to get here. How can you be admitted and what that process looks like? Of course, each program has specific admission requirements, so please make sure to check your specific program website for those details. So I'll just share the broad requirements that all of our MA programs here. You do need to have a completed bachelor's degree. We have a preferred 3.0 GPA, but it's preferred, not a strict GPA requirement. So if you're anywhere below that or near that, don't let that deter you from applying. You can certainly still apply. We don't require GRE scores, but if you feel like your application would benefit from submitting your scores, you can certainly do so, and we will consider those as well. Now, our international applicants should also consider applying way before these deadlines, which are listed down below, in order to give yourself plenty of time to go through that entire visa process. We typically recommend giving yourself 2 to 3 months in advance in order to go through that process with the consulate and the embassy and all that good stuff. We also do have an Office of International Student and Scholar Support for our international applicants. They are there to handle anything from the I-20 and beyond, helping you come over here to DePaul. So as you can see, you can actually join us as early as the spring. So we do admit on a rolling basis, depending on your program. We admit every quarter. Some of our programs are admitting for this upcoming spring, 2026, with the deadline being March 1st. You do have from now until then to submit all of your materials. Your application will not be reviewed until you have all of your application materials submitted. So make sure that you plan for that as well, particularly regarding the letters of recommendation. You know, that's typically what might hold up some of our applicants. So we always want to make sure that you give your recommenders plenty of time to write those letters for you. If you're not joining us in the spring, you can come in the summer, May 1st, or wait till the fall, which is when we typically admit our largest class. And the application deadline for the fall is August 15th. And then we also have our winter deadline here listed as December 1st, but the winter quarter does not begin until the next calendar year of January 2027. Again, this is for our international students. There is, you will notice, a $75 application fee that is for this application. The $75 covers our in-house degree evaluation service. So if you did receive your degree from anywhere outside of the US, this is a required part of the admission process. The only way to sort of have this fee waived is if you already have your own degree evaluation from a recognized NACES organization, something like WES, or Global Prospects. You can submit your own evaluation to us, and we'll be able to waive that fee. Otherwise, you do need to pay that $75 application fee because it covers the required international degree process. Our domestic applicants have an application fee of $40, but we are always willing to work with your circumstances, so feel free to reach out to me if you're interested in receiving any sort of fee waiver for domestic applicants. And again, for international applicants, we also require English proficiency exam scores. You can take TOEFL, the IELTS, or the Duolingo, and you can see two numbers listed here. Those represent your conditional admission and then the number for your full admission as well. And these test scores can be submitted directly from your test site. Or if you're taking the Duolingo test, you can actually have them directly sent from the Duolingo website over to us. Alrighty, so again, the general application procedures for everyone. Whenever you are ready, you'll go over to our website, grad.depaul.edu/apply. You'll create your account and start your application. Again, I talked about those fee waivers and what we can do about those. You will also need to submit your transcripts. You can upload and submit unofficial transcripts if you have your own PDF version handy, and we can review and make a decision with those. But do consider that you will need to send us your official transcripts in order to enroll you in classes once you are admitted. So make sure that you arrange to have those transcripts sent over to us accordingly. And official means that they're sent directly from your prior institution over to us. Well, most of our programs will require a resume. We're really just trying to look at where you're coming from, what does your experience look like, as well as a personal statement, really telling us why does this program align with your goals, your career aspirations, why DePaul, why this particular program. Also, leaning into those Vincentian values and Vincentian mission that we have here at DePaul University. We are a mission-driven university, and we always appreciate to see how our students can connect with those values of service to our community. There's also letters of recommendation required for all programs except for our journalism program. The journalism program does not require letters of recommendation, but you can always submit them to help, support your application. Ideally, we would like to see at least one academic reference within the letters of recommendation and one professional reference, but we understand that some of you may be a few years out from graduation or not in contact with your college professors. So if that is the case, recommendation letters from your employers or managers would suffice this requirement as well. Some of our other programs do require a writing sample or a portfolio or some sort of example of your prior work. However, you do not need to have a background in communications to apply for our programs. So if you don't have a background in communications, please check the website, as there may be an alternative writing prompt that you can submit instead of submitting a relevant writing sample. So there's a few options there for you. Alrighty, and again, please just make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to have all of these application materials submitted, because your application cannot be fully reviewed until we have everything in there. Alrighty, so now let's talk about how to finance your degree. I know this is a big investment that you are all making, so it's very important to consider how will you finance your degree and level up your career. Of course, if you're eligible, you can apply for FAFSA and receive up to $20,500 in loans. That's split between the unsubsidized loans and the graduate student plus loans that are offered to you. Just a call out, this is actually the last application cycle in which new issuance of graduate plus loans will be available. So if you think that you will need that graduate plus loans to finance your education, your graduate studies, I highly recommend that you take advantage of those and have those issued during this application cycle because they will be going away in the future. And that's just the graduate loans. The unsubsidized loans will still remain there. And again, just a reminder, both of these are federal loans that have much lower interest rates than any sort of other private lender. So do consider these options before you consider going to any other private lender. Scholarship opportunities are also available. First, being through the application process. Well, actually, first, I should mention that all of our applicants will receive a $6,300 scholarship award. Automatically, there's no need to apply. This is given to all of our incoming graduate students, and it is split up between the quarters in which you are enrolled. So if you are in a 2-year program, you would receive $3,150 per year. But again, totaling that $6,300 amount. There are additional scholarships available in our scholarship portal. These are the more college level and university-wide awards that are available as well. And then during the initial review process, you can also be recommended for a merit award, which is essentially a course tuition waiver that would cover or waive the tuition for one of your classes in your incoming quarter. This is for our standout applicants, the ones that we really want to incentivize to come to DePaul. But don't be discouraged if you're not selected, as these opportunities are also available to you in the fall and in the spring. Once you are admitted, you will receive follow-up communications that invite you to apply for these tuition waivers. Again, in the fall and in the spring. And I saw someone mention the Double Demon discount. Yes, the Double Demon discount is about the greatest and largest savings that we offer here at DePaul. Essentially covering 25% of your second degree here at DePaul. If you're a combined degree student, you would also qualify for the Double Demon discount during that 5th and final year of your graduate studies. And there's, again, no additional application required for this. It's automatically applied to your account. So as long as you selected that you attended DePaul for an undergraduate degree, the Double Demon discount will be applied to your final 5th year. And then there's also the opportunity for you to use some of those employer benefits, tuition reimbursement, discounts, anything that they may offer you, but also professional organization benefits. For example, IABC and PRSA Chicago. If you are a member of those professional organizations, you can receive a 25% tuition discount in our ProCom graduate program, which is a 1-year fully online program. And all of our other programs will give you a 10% savings as well. So this is a great way to save if you're not necessarily receiving other forms of aid. So sometimes it's even worthwhile just paying the fee to join these organizations because the discount will be greater than that fee that you pay. And then, of course, any external award and personal contribution we also accept. And I always recommend that you go through the application process as early as possible so that you can give yourself plenty of time to meet with our financial aid officers who can sit down and have that conversation with you about what your payment options would look like, whether it's a payment plan or anything else that you may need. Giving yourself plenty of time to have those discussions will allow you to make a better and more informed decision. Okay, I know that was a lot of information your way, so please feel free to unmute yourself, ask your question, drop it in the chat. We're more than happy to answer those. And again, it can be related to the program or any of the admission process that I just mentioned, but feel free to ask your questions.
So, folks, while we're thinking about questions, and as Flavio mentioned, you can throw them in the chat, or you can raise your emoji hand, or even turn on your camera. I just want to, because Flavio alluded to this, but it is, I think, really important, this change that's coming down. I put it in the chat. As far as we know, July 1, so you would need the Grad Plus loan program. As long as you get everything in and are approved for it, you're essentially then, for lack of a better term, grandfathered in to it. But if you're then like waiting later on closer to the fall, it doesn't seem that you're going to have access then to that again lower cost source of financing for your degree. So that's just sort of I'd say, Flavio, kind of and everybody, it's like a PSA that I think wherever you may decide to do your master's, it's going to be the same for everybody. All right, Flavio, looks like we got some question from Helen.
Yes, Helen is asking, do you all offer any special scholarships to AmeriCorps alums? I don't know of any off the top of my mind. I can certainly confirm to see if that's a specific scholarship that we offer, but not that I can recall right off of my mind.
I I smiled right away, Helen, because my better half, who my colleagues here know, Tracy, started very early in her career with an AmeriCorps program, which,
Great.
as you know, was established under none other than President Bill Clinton in the 90s. And AmeriCorps does so much good. I'm sure there's probably national scholarships that you know about through AmeriCorps that you could tap into.
Yeah, I would recommend looking on the AmeriCorps website and seeing what sort of benefits they offer. And we would certainly accept any sort of external award or scholarship that they may offer you.
And then Diana had a question. I'm just trying to scroll back. We
So,
apologize. We don't want to miss anybody that put stuff in the queue earlier.
yeah,
Several of folks, everyone said yes, yes, yes. So, yeah. So I don't know if you saw that,
Diana, yeah,
Flavia, about
yeah,
if
Diana
you're
wants to know
working on
some
your
more.
master's.
Yes, more clarification on graduate assistantships. Thank you for reminding me. Graduate assistantships are also available. Those are available more so on an as needed rolling basis. So there's typically, only about 10 to 15 GA positions available every year. And again, those become available as students either leave the position or a position becomes available based on the needs of our college and departments and professors. But you can find these opportunities when they are posted on that Scholarship Connect portal. So in that same portal where you browse for scholarship opportunities, you will find them listed there as graduate assistantships. Uh, Graduate assistantships is essentially working on campus. You do get compensated for your hourly work, so you would get a biweekly um, paycheck for your hourly work, as well as a tuition waiver for one of your classes for every quarter in which you are a GA. So again, full-time graduate students at DePaul can take 2 graduate classes at a time. So if you're a GA, that would essentially cover 50% of your tuition. Again, attractive benefits do make it highly competitive. So I always recommend that you keep an eye on these positions and really, work towards building a strong reputation when you enroll at DePaul, when you start your classes, become close with your professors and your peers, as that will sort of make you a standout candidate for when these applications become available.
So just to build a little bit on what Flavio shared, because that's a great question about graduate assistantships. Every university and really even every college, even within DePaul, is a bit different. So
Mhm.
you need to first already be a graduate student, not just admitted, but actively taking classes. And you will then get email blast from the graduate advisor and myself that will then share with you graduate assistantship calls. And like Flavio said,
Mhm.
there is a limited number of them per year. The other thing we do want to highlight is for particularly strong graduate student applicants, you might be offered, you're eligible for a graduate admission scholarship that's typically worth the cost of one course. And so the colleagues joining us tonight, like Dr. Close and Dr. Payne and Dr. Dang, you're looking at very influential members of the admissions committees for these different degree programs. And so they might flag and say, we should offer an admission scholarship. Another opportunity is once you're admitted into the program, just like you can apply for graduate assistantships, we also have merit scholarships for continuing students. And we do those calls several times a year. Again, there's a limited number, a limited pool, but you apply. And if you're accepted and selected, that is also generally worth one class. So we're talking around when we talk about the one course scholarship, we're talking what, Flavia, like around 4,000?
Around 4,000.
Yeah.
It's around a $4,000 savings. So that's a good amount of your tuition for that quarter.
Yeah.
Thank you for elaborating there, Matt. I see Lauren has some questions about the combined degree program with an expected graduation date of winter/spring 2027. When should I apply? Additionally, do you recommend that students pursue master's degrees in the same field as their undergrad degree or something else? I'm a PRAD major, but unsure which graduate program I want to pursue. So I can answer that first half. The combined degree program, we recommend that you apply in your junior year. So as long as you have your senior year left open, your classes of your senior year left available, you should have enough availability to build and incorporate those graduate courses into your senior schedule. So ideally, you would want to apply by the spring quarter of your junior year. So if you're graduating in winter, spring 2027, now would be a good time to begin your application. So if you're interested, I know Tony and Matt dropped the link to our upcoming combined degree info session, but I highly recommend that you attend, and we'll definitely go into more detail in terms of the combined degree process. But would any of my colleagues here want to chime in? What do you guys recommend? Should someone study a master's degree in what their undergraduate degree is, or can they kind of mix and match their interest?
I would say that you can definitely mix and match your interests. Personally, I did my master's degree in animation and digital design, even though my undergraduate degree was in English. And I think that that really sent me down the path to communication, where I was able to combine both of those interests.
Mm.
So I think you can definitely do something a little bit different, like my program.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
also chime in. Oh, sorry, Flavio. But in journalism, we often find that it's really beneficial. Obviously, if you have some journalism experience, that's great. You'll just kind of hit the ground running. But we also, I think a lot of people who have like English backgrounds or poli sci, history, like they have some other um, what's it called, discipline that informs and can inform their journalistic work. I think that's great. And again, there's
Mm.
no, I don't prefer people with a history poli sci background versus journalism. I think it works both. So it's really totally entirely up to you and
Mhm.
your what you want to do with it. But it's kind of a half answer there. Sorry, but yeah, we don't. I don't. I'll say out from the journalism standpoint, we neither uh, we don't not take someone because they don't have journalism experience, right? But we also don't disadvantage people because they have no like a lot of things that a lot of people apply to ours from like changing careers, right, from in public relations and advertising. So yeah, anyway, I'll stop now, but I think it's great to
Yeah,
have different ones.
and I was even going to mention the combined degree program is open to all colleges, all undergraduate majors. So even if you're not a communications undergraduate student, you can still take advantage of this great opportunity to save on your master's degree. And I think it really comes down to what Sam and Vincent are saying about combining your interests. If you see that you can intersect your interests and build a career path out of it, I don't think you need to have a direct background in undergrad to study that in graduate school.
Think about what you want to do in 5 years. So you're planning your career, you're planning your identity, you are writing a resume. So you can think ahead of times what this program can do for you in 5 years. That is a better way to envision your future, not only just limited into one track. You can pursue different tracks, but think about what would impact you in the coming 5 years.
Yeah, think
Hey,
about the skill set that you want to develop. So,
hey, Lauren, I just want to make sure you saw that because it's kind of up a bit in the chat. I put in a little more information, like on the BAMA information session and
Yeah,
details.
I saw that. Unfortunately, I have a class during that time. So this
Oh,
was kind of the only info session I could come to.
yeah, the game plan will be, I think, to record that session as well, Lauren,
yep.
and then so go ahead. I would say go ahead and register for it, even if you can't attend it, if that makes sense, because we'll use that list to then send out the recording. But you can totally you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Flavio. I don't know who your undergrad advisor is right now, but for all of our, and this is good for everybody to know, we have a dedicated graduate advisor, Seth Horning, who is excellent. So he would be who you'd be working with, Lauren, on the actual like application and like moving you ahead to actually then like matriculate into the BAMA option.
Yeah, Lauren, I also want to invite you if you're interested in connecting. We can always connect on a one-on-one and have a more in-depth conversation about your particular scenario and then share any other advice that you may or would receive at the combined degree session. So I'm just dropping that info in the chat now, but you can use that link. And this goes for anyone. I invite you all to use that link and set up a appointment to talk further about your interest in graduate school.
Well, I think we are. It looks like at the top of the hour. We've packed a lot into the hour. We're very appreciative to the master's program faculty grad reps for joining us this evening. You got a taste of the level of attention and care of Flavio and the grad admissions team. You got to learn a little bit about me, and we really appreciate you all spending time with us. I think we've put Flavio's contact info. You've got my contact info. Also, a quick Google search, you can get access to us. We are all about that Vincentian personalism, and so it is such a delight to work with my amazing colleagues that represent all these programs. Because if you reach out to them, you will hear back from them, and if we don't know the answer, we'll find someone that can help you out. Any final thoughts, Flavio?
Nothing for me. Thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see your application come through sometime soon.
Thanks very much, everybody. Have a
Thank
great
you
rest
all.
of the evening.